Hey everybody! Today I want to share a story with you. It's not one of my usual topics, but it matters more than ever. If you're over 50, suddenly single, and thinking of letting someone into your life, you need to hear this story of my friend Michelle. You might be emotionally vulnerable and wish you could return to the comfort of a close relationship. I don't blame you. And while online dating may sound like a safe place to go, her experience with a predator who saw her emotional vulnerability will open your eyes and possibly save you a disaster later in your life. Really, it's an honest beginning. We don't stop longing for love just because we've lived a long life. The desire to be seen, to be held, to be understood doesn't disappear after a certain birthday, right? Michelle is an old friend of mine from childhood, in her mid-60s like me. She lost her husband not too long ago. They were together for decades. While it wasn't the perfect marriage, it was comfortable and it was true. So after he passed, she decided, all right, this is time for me to start a new chapter in my life. She traveled with her church group. She started thrifting and began selling her finds on eBay. She even joined a pickleball league. She had rebuilt a beautiful solo life. But one evening, with a glass of wine and a curious heart, she opened up her laptop and joined a dating site that had been recommended by one of her church friends. And that is where this story begins. He messaged her the next day. Let's call him David, the charmer. David seemed perfect. He was also a widower. He was educated. He was spiritual. He was well-traveled. He said he had moved back to Canada after years in California, fulfilling his late wife's dying wish. Romantic, right? Something about it felt a little overdone, but he said all the right things. He said, "Where have you been all my life? You're so grounded. You're so real." He said, "I feel like we were meant to meet. You're my soulmate." They spoke every day, long messages, vulnerable exchanges, and late night texts. He painted a beautiful picture. Let's go on a trip. We'll have beach mornings in Thailand, yoga retreats in Bali, and how about we rent a luxury RV in Hawaii? He even sent her the link of the luxury RV company and asked her to pick which RV she wanted to take. She was hooked, and it felt so magical until it didn't. She had a gut feeling, but because of all the conversations, she set it aside. But he avoided video calls, she told me, and he gave her vague answers about where he lived. After prying, she Googled his neighborhood, and it didn't quite align with a wealthy, well-traveled image that he had painted. She asked gently, and then he replied kind of dramatically, she told me. He said, "It was my wife's dying wish. She wanted me to feel her presence in the city where she grew up." Still, she had a gut feeling that something was off, but it's hard to let go of a dream once you become emotionally invested. I know, I even have been there. We all want to believe the best, right? Let's take a moment here. Losing a partner through death or divorce can leave us feeling vulnerable. Even wise, independent women like us feel that. We do rebuild. We do move forward. But sometimes we still crave someone to share our life with. We wonder if maybe, just maybe, we're missing out on that one last great love. That's what makes us such ideal targets for men like David, who see us coming a mile away. I'll be honest, I tried online dating too. Building my profile felt like I was putting myself on sale. I mean, how do you explain your entire life, your history, your health, your education, your dreams in a 400-word blurb? And the photos? Okay, well, that's another story because we're not spring chickens. We don't look like those 20-year-olds, right? Once I paid for my membership, they told me to be proactive, to reach out to men and ask thoughtful questions. So I did, to about 20 of them. And guess what? I was ghosted by every single one. I was shocked, and I also felt deeply rejected. It felt like the people behind those profiles didn't really exist. So I did a search on Reddit. I wish I had done that before, because other women on Reddit reported that they believed that those were fake profiles and the reviews were also fake. I based my decision on those reviews. Some of the matches looked like a perfect fit until they didn't reply. Others were laughably vague. Those are the ones that reached out to me. And some of them were outright inappropriate. One man even put in his profile that he only wanted mutual intimacy, nothing more. After that, I canceled my membership, and thankfully they stopped billing me. And now I'm done. Before I return to Michelle's story, let me share something that might be safer investment than a dating app. It's called Life Reinvention Kit. It's a 40-page ebook that I created after my divorce. It includes worksheets, articles, journal prompts, affirmations, mindset tools, all of which helped me rebuild a joyful, independent life. And it's only $7 because it took me 7 years to come up with it. If you're looking for wholeness, not just a relationship, this might be a good first step. The link is below in the description box. Let's get back to Michelle's story. Over the course of their conversations, Michelle had revealed her financial picture. A generous pension, a mortgage-free home, and David said that he had a 7-figure nest egg, no pension, because he didn't want to burden his business. Okay, when he suggested a 6-month trip to Southeast Asia, he offered to put down the deposits, but asked if Michelle could cover the rent and the day-to-day expenses like groceries, which in Southeast Asia is very affordable. That was a small ask, right? It sounded reasonable until it wasn't. She asked if they could meet first before going on the trip, like a real courtship, if you will. He agreed, sort of. He suggested a road trip to Arizona, a romantic getaway. Once again, he was isolating her from her support group. They traveled together for a while. It all felt magical until he suggested a quick wedding in Las Vegas by an Elvis impersonator. That's when her instincts screamed. She still didn't have his address. His kids were always busy and never to be found. He used cash only. He didn't have any social media accounts except for the dating app. She told me after the fact she realized that he was mirroring everything she wanted in a partner. He was taking notes while they were talking. So when she asked for accountability, clear answers, he replied to her, "Why are you still suspicious of me after all this time we spent together?" Can you say gaslighting? Eventually, she told him she had to return home. He suggested flying back with her, and that's when she told him that her very close friend, who's a police officer, was staying at her house and he would pick her up from the airport. Suddenly, he backed off. She returned home, changed her phone number, and filed a police report. Michelle was lucky. Things could have gone very differently for her. And this is why I'm sharing her story, because there are predators on these platforms who look for financially secure women over 50. They breadcrumb, they gaslight, they future fake. They mirror you so well, you think that you've met your soulmate. And by the time you realize what's going on, you're already entangled in this fantasy and you're second guessing yourself. So if you're thinking of online dating or are already trying it, please be cautious. Protect your heart, protect your independence, and protect your identity and all that you hold dear. If you've been through something like this or have questions, please share it in the comments. We are stronger when we speak together. I hope this resonated with you. If it did, like, share, and subscribe, please. And remember, Later is greater. See you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.